Hey, what's going on there, YouTube? This is SCL0320 representing JVS. So I'm back here again for another review. I got an early screening for Guillermo del Toro's movie, The Shape of Water. Guillermo del Toro, I actually really loved a couple of his movies, namely Pan's Labyrinth, the movie The Orphanage. Of course, I love what he did with Hellboy and that franchise, as well as with Pacific Rim. I'm a huge Blade 2 lover, and he's made some other movies. And the last movie that he made, I think, was Crimson Peak. I think that was the name of it. I never saw that, so I don't know of any point of reference. But I will say that The Shape of Water is a very immersive and beautiful film. From the cinematography alone, just to go ahead and start off, there's so many different shots that feel very old and very like 70s slash 60s slash I don't know, like it immerses you into that. But with the soundtrack and with the classic style of how the color palettes and the dark tones and the contrast that Guillermo normally does, it is showcased very well and very viscerally in this movie, as well as the main creature, which I guess would be Amphibian Man, played by Doug Jones. Doug Jones did Abe in Hellboy. I think he was the Pale Man in Pan's Labyrinth. He's just recently on the Star Trek Discovery, and he's just a great, expression artist, what I would call him, because the way that they actually do the suit, it looks so practical. I don't know. There's a lot of times where I was like, where his eye movements were happening, I was like, is that CG or is that real? And it's just like, they're gonna get a nomination on the costume design and the cinematography. Definitely. This is definitely a very immersively beautiful film, as well as it also tells an interestingly simplistic story, but acted very well. They've got some really good actors, like A-list actors, in fact. You got Octavia Spencer, got Michael Shannon, and a lady that I've never heard of in Sally Hawkins, who plays the main character, who is mute, who she can hear everything, but she expresses through sign language. And like from the very opening with her, and you see her daily regiment, you really understand that this is a rated R film. She does some very suggestive things that I was just like, okay, there's nudity. Okay, well, she's doing that. Okay, wow. Wait. So in this movie, I would forewarn you, there's nudity, there's a lot of sexual content. There's actually some moments that are very violent as well. Kind of along the lines of Pan's Labyrinth, but not too immersive. There's a couple moments with Michael Shannon later on, and I'll talk about his role in a second, where I was like, dang, oh man, this is rough. Also in this movie, you've also got Richard Jenkins and a newcomer that I've never heard of in David Hewlett and Michael Stuhlbarg. Michael Stuhlbarg actually does a really good job as the Dr. Robert. I thought he did a really good job, actually. I was really surprised by him. But Michael Shannon and Octavia Spencer, they add this interesting nuance to this world, where Octavia Spencer definitely plays the role of, a black lady that is working underneath this organization, and she definitely is dealing with ramifications around her. But she also adds comedic relief in spite of the reality that she's actually going through. Michael Shannon is the opposite side of that, where he's like the American dream guy that, gets his way most of the time, and yet is just downright mean, evil, potentially racist, but he plays it so well. Like, Michael Shannon really does such a good job. I think that I would compare this to him in Nocturnal Instincts. And maybe General Zod and Man Steel, like he actually commits to it. It's like, I don't love to hate his character. I just think he plays this bad character very well. Like towards the third act, like that was when I started seeing him stretch a little bit as far as his acting range. But the interesting part of this, again, it all boils down to Sally Hawkins and Doug Jones. Do they have chemistry? The chemistry is definitely there. The thing that Sally Hawkins does, it conveys very well through, without using words, is the way she's able to equate emotion with the sign language very well. Like it's like she definitely commits to it. If I didn't know, but I was like, man, she maybe is mute. She really does emote well. And Doug Jones, what he does well, he doesn't make a noise or a sound. Like he just does the movements very well. Like you can tell off their body language just going back and forth. I think that they go a little bit too deep as far as the sexual content, in terms of like where she, emotes to, like what she's trying to feel versus what she's trying to do. And I can't really, say too much, but they cross some interesting lines. That's why I said that this is very much so a rated R film. But the simplicity of their love story and the simplicity of their interactions make this a fine-tuned, beautiful film. Is it great? I don't know, because I think that there are certain things that they could have explored more with the creature, as much as certain things they could have dialed back. But it was very much so a very good film, very beautifully shot, very beautifully acted. The third act is tension filled. Like there were certain things I was like, yo, what is about to happen? I think they could have pushed the envelope a little bit more, even more so with Michael Shannon's character as much as the creature. But what they were able to do, they accomplished very much so. I think that Sally Hawkins will get nominated for a Golden Globe nomination. I think that they definitely will get an Oscar nomination for costume and design, as well as, I don't know if the score was really good. The score was really good. But I think that principal photography is just very beautiful. So I think that it could get a nomination. Oscar-wise, it'll definitely get a Golden Globe nomination. So that's what I think about it. I give the movie, I'm in between an 8 and an 8.5 out of 10. I think that the more I rest on it, I'm going to lean more towards an 8.5. This was definitely something you should definitely go and check out. But don't take your kids, because there's a lot of nudity, a lot of sexual nature things. Definitely a lot of things that happen that's very violent. So I wouldn't take your kids to this movie at all. But if you love expressive art, you appreciated what he did with Pan's Labyrinth, you appreciated what he did with the other films that he's done, you can definitely feel Del Toro's handprint on this film. And I think that if you appreciate that, you'll take something out of this that's very beautiful, very good film, but it really could have potentially been a great film. And depending on how you depict the exploration of the embodiment of the characters and what they're trying to really say, you might find a deeper meaning out of it that I couldn't even foresee. So hopefully you enjoyed this review. Keep it locked. JVS, we ain't gonna stop. I'll talk to you guys a little bit later on. Peace, guys.